This is the second part of the utility shed, so we're picking up right where we left off after version 1. So I'm going to take this, delete. So what we have so far is we have 4 walls, a roof, and a floor. One wall is a brick wall on metal stud. The other are just our generic 8-inch walls, so we didn't really pay attention to how we built those. So if I click on one of them, you'll see that it's basic wall, generic 8-inch. So we want to convert this into our wood frame exterior wall. So what we are going to do is we're going to click on this, after I've clicked on one of the walls, we're actually going to click back on the brick wall because that has more of the basic elements we're going to use. Select edit type. We're going to duplicate this. We never want to replace an existing feature. We're going to create a new one. So we're going to call it exterior. And then we're going to, this is going to be a wood frame exterior wall. So there will be siding on wood stud. Okay. And we're going to edit the structure. So we're not going to have brick anymore. We're going to have vinyl siding. So once you click on brick wall, click on the 3 dots here, and you can look through this menu of items, but you're not going to find, you can find vinyl composite and a composition tile, but you're not going to find any vinyl siding. So you have to create it. So the circle button with the plus sign down here, click on create new material. So that creates a blank default new material. So we have to go ahead and name it what we want to name it. So instead of naming it default new material, we're going to name it vinyl siding. The description, again, call it vinyl siding. Graphics, vinyl siding shows up as a, when you install it, it has a horizontal pattern to it. So when you click on, sorry, I'll go back a second, the surface pattern, the foreground, you're going to scroll down until you see the horizontal. If you want closer horizontal spacing, you can do the horizontal small, but the horizontal, just the regular horizontal, should be fine for us. And then appearance, here's where you can pick whatever it is you want it to look like. To do that, you select this to replace this asset. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And we're going to go into the appearance library. So you click the little down arrow. And what's going to make it look the best for us is if we choose siding, scroll down, and you do either one of these wood horizontal cedar, or wood horizontal white. I'll just choose wood horizontal for now, and we'll see how it looks. Replace this current. It's already done for us. So click X, click apply, OK. Alright, so vinyl siding is not 3.5 inches. What it really is, it is about a 1/2 inch. So type in, replace the 3 5/8 with 1/2. We do not have a thermal air layer, so you click on the 2, click on delete. The membrane layer, yes, we have that. So it's the vinyl sitting on top of like the Tyvek, and then that is sitting on top of 3/4 inch plywood sheathing, yes. And then we do not have metal studs, we have wood studs. Our wood studs are 2x4s, but that's only nominal measurements, 2 inches by 4 inches. It's really 1.5 inches by 3.5. So we're going to change this from 6 inches to 3.5 inches. And we're going to swap out metal stud for wood stud. Again, if you scroll through here, you can try, but you will not find a wood stud, so you have to create one. So again, we'll create a new material. The identity is going to be wood stud. Description again, wood stud. We'll call it 2x4. Graphics. This is totally hidden inside of the wall, so you don't really need to do any of this part. But if you really, really care to, you can swap out the appearance. Go to the appearance library. Go to wood. And just pick anything. Maybe a pine. Swap that out. Again, this is totally, you're not going to see this, so this really doesn't make a difference either way with this appearance. The only appearance you will see is the vinyl siding on the outside of this, and then so as we work our way in, we have on the exterior walls, we do have a membrane, a vapor barrier, and then a gypsum wallboard. And we will be using 1/2 inch gypsum wallboard, which is standard on a wall, and you'll see the inside of this. All right, so that is our exterior walls we're going to be using. Click OK. OK. And we are also going to want to make an interior wall, so we're going to put some interior walls in here. So we're going to click Edit, Type again, Duplicate. So instead of it being exterior siding on wood stud, just call it interior. We call it drywall on wood stud, or gypsum wallboard on wood stud, either way. Say OK. We're going to edit this, and now it doesn't matter what side we're on. It's just going to be gypsum wallboard on wood stud. You don't have any membranes, so we can delete this membrane out. No plywood sheeting, delete that out. No membrane, delete that out, and change this from vinyl siding to gypsum wallboard. That is already in here, so you just have to go find it. Gypsum wallboard's right there. Say OK. So we have a gypsum wallboard, wood stud, gypsum wallboard. That's your typical interior wall. Click OK. And OK. So the shed we're going to build now, we do want one exterior to be that brick on metal stud. So I'll click on that, and I'll change that back to my brick on metal stud. But then the other three, so I'll click on that wall, rotate around, click on that wall, hold down Control to select multiple walls, and then rotate around, hold down Control, click on that wall. So these three walls we want to be our exterior siding on wood stud. All right, see the horizontal hatch pattern, and then there's our brick. So this is our realistic view. If you wanted to look at it a little bit different, you could do hidden line. And so there you see the horizontal siding, the brick right there, and there we go. All right, let me just double check. We do have our wood 8-inch rafter, and then we have our floor. So let's go back into our floor plan. All right, zoom in. And what you notice, you can even see this in the 3D view, our floor no longer matches up with our walls. All right, we have a large gap here in the brick wall and a small gap here on the other walls. So that's an issue. We need to correct that, so we're going to do that. And the reason for this is we changed the thickness of our actual walls. If we go back to our floor plan, double click on floor plan, first off, we want to make sure that our shed is still our 12 by 16. It's 12 foot by 16, which we see again, since we've adjusted the thicknesses of our walls, it's no longer true. So let's go ahead, first of all, let's make that happen. So click on this wall, and you see we need to adjust it. So drag it down, make it bigger than it needs to be, 13 foot 6 inches. Now it's a little too small, 11 feet. And so now it's 12. Click on this wall, make it larger, then shrink it back down, make it exactly 16, which is right here. Okay, so now the shed itself is sized appropriately. Now let's adjust the floor. So click on the floor. If you double click on the floor, it goes into edit. All right, and what you want to do is you want to, there's a couple different things you could do. You could do click and drag. What's the easiest thing to do is use the align tool. So if you click on the align tool, what you want to do is you want to click on what you're going to align to first, and then what you want to move second. So then I'm aligning this floor wall, the edge of this floor to that wall. And then click on this edge and that part of the floor, this edge and that part of the floor, and then this edge and that part of the floor. All right, Now all of our edges of our floor match up with the outside edges of our walls. Click OK to finish edit. It looks okay in floor plan. Let's go back now in 3D view, and yes, now we see our floor matches up seamlessly with our walls. Alright, so again, go back to floor plan. Everything looks good. We don't have to worry about our roof, since our roof was already tied to our walls. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, our roof automatically adjusted when we adjusted our walls. Alright, so we have exterior walls, we have a roof, a floor. Now we need to put in some interior walls. So click on Wall, under the Architecture tab, click on Wall. Now do pay attention, don't just choose the basic generic 8-inch wall. We have created an interior wall. So find the interior drywall on stud. And let's just, I'm just going to put a wall, maybe 2/3 of the way back. I'm not going to pay attention to the dimensions just yet. Put that going across the back, and I'll even divide it into two more sections like that. All right, exit out. So now I've got the walls. By the way, this wood flooring is really throwing me off while I'm working here. So I'll click on it, and I just want to get rid of it temporarily. I don't want to delete it. I just want to hide it. So I can right-click, pull up this menu, click on Hide in View, Hide Elements. So now the floor is not going to be messing me up while I work. Alright, so now I've got some interior walls. Let's check the spacing on these walls. So I'm going to click Dimension, and I want to go from the outside edge of the back wall. So instead of wall center line, I want to do face of core, meaning the face of the wood stud. The stud is the core of my wall. And so there it is. The rest of this thickness is the drywall, or not the drywall, the plywood and the vinyl siding. If I were to go to this side, that you see just drywall on the inside. It's a little bit thinner. So I want to go from the outside edge of this wall to the center of this wall, and it's a random 6 foot 1 3/8 of an inch. That is kind of random. I don't want that to be that measurement. I want to make it a nice even 6 foot. Alright, so there we go. Again, I want that to be a 6 foot measurement. Oh, I see. So when I tie it to the outside edge, so that's where my issue is coming in. So that's from the core, and that's where the difference is coming in. Okay, so I see. So we're going to stick to this. So we're going to stick to that measurement. We're going to have to probably adjust our floor a little bit, but we'll keep that, and then we'll do one more from the outside edge to the center line, 5, 10, and 3/4. That's going to adjust, and let me do this measurement real quick. Alright, and so that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's where I wanted these to be on the face of the core. Alright. And alright, and then one more dimension here. So yeah, with that being a brick wall, that's a little weird. That's why. Because the core of the metal stud is back around here. So we are going to put that out to the edge of the brick. All right, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this until that top dimension is exactly 16 feet. And then I'm going to move this until these dimensions read 12 feet. Okay, so get rid of that outside dimension, don't need that. We'll change this one to be exactly 6 feet. All right. And this one will be exactly 6 feet as well. All right. And one more dimension from the outside edge here to this center line. Since it's symmetric, it should be 6 feet. Okay, good. So now I've got my interior walls and they are spaced accordingly. Now I want to put in some doors. So let's exit out. Under the architecture tab, let's choose door. You'll notice that depending on what side of the wall I put the door on, it can open outside or open inside, and it always dimensions to the middle. And then if I wanted to, now if I kind of orient myself, it opens to the right. If I wanted to open the left, I hit spacebar and it opens to the right. So depends on what I want. And then also make sure you're putting in the right type of door. Currently I'm at a single flush 36 by 84, which according to the instructions is the type of door I want to put on the outside. So let me just review that real quick. Yes, so I will choose that. So single flush 36 by 84. Oops, I didn't want to place that one. I'll delete that out. Yes, type single panel. Single panel 34 by 80. Oh, by 80 inches. 34 by 80 inches. That's what I want right there. Go ahead and put that in there. One there. One on this wall. One on that wall. All right. I didn't pay attention to dimensions just yet. Also, I don't want this one opening that way. I want it opening towards the wall. So I click on it and I hit spacebar. There we go. So let's dimension. So from the outer edge of this wall to the center of the door, and then to the center of this wall. I'm putting in a chain dimension, so it's just going all the way across. And then I will move this up. This is not proper dimensioning right now. I'm going to delete out these dimensions. Alright, so right now that's 3'6". I want to adjust that, so I'm going to make that exactly 3 feet. Alright, and I want this to be symmetric, so I want this one also to be exactly 3 feet. And so now everything is symmetric. It's 3 foot, 3 foot, 3 foot, 3 foot, 3 foot spacings everywhere. So it is pretty symmetric now. This one, again, I want it to be centered on my door, so I want this dimension to be the same as this dimension. So there is a way to make those two dimensions equal. So when I click on that, you can see, I can say, oops, not equal. Oh, so first of all, I've got to put the dimensions in. So from the outside core of this wall to the center of the door, and then to the outside core of this wall. I'll go out of the structure out here. Again, this is not properly dimensioned just yet, but this is what I want to call your attention to. You see EQ there's a slash through, EQ is for equal. If I click on that, it sets them equal to each other. Now this dimension and this dimension are equal, so the door is equally spaced on this wall. So I click off of it. If I want to see what those actual dimensions is, I click on it over here under the properties. Instead of equality test, I want to see the value apply. 6 foot and 6 foot. Excellent. Delete out this. Move these to where they should be. All right. So that's putting in doors, and the other thing we want to do is put in some windows. So put in some windows, choose the windows, fixed 36 by 48. You can choose any kind of window you want. You can do a window casement. You can do a fixed window. Since this is a utility shed, I'm just going to do a fixed window. Yeah, 36 by 48. That's pretty tall. Yeah, let's try it, see what it looks like. I'll put one here in this room, one on that side there, one here, and one here. All right, so let's see. First of all, I got to see if I actually put them in correctly. So you see these two are put in opposite directions, with this part of the window being up here, this part of the window being down there. I'm not sure from this view which one's the correct way, so I go to 3D view, and I zoom in, and I can see if I look in here, here's the windowsill, and it's on the outside. It should be on the inside, so that window was put in wrong. So if I go back to floor plan, the other way to tell is if you click on the window itself, this double arrow that indicates inside or outside, it is the wrong way. It's on the inside. So I click there, and now it's on the outside. Click here, that's on the outside. Click here, it's on the outside. Click here, it's on the outside. So those are done well. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure these windows are centered on these rooms. So again, I put in dimensions, outside core to the center of the window, to the center of the interior wall. Those look weird. I want them to be equal, so I'll set them equal. And then I want to actually see what their values are. So I go over here to properties menu, hit value, apply, 3 foot, 3 foot, good. Let's go ahead and double check what this is to this center. That's a weird dimension. Click on the window itself, change that to 6 feet, make it a nice nominal number. There we go. So I want to do the same thing up top here. That dimension is going to get in my way. I'll delete it out temporarily. Let's see. Outside core to the center of this wall, to the center of that window, make one long chain dimension. So I could use the equal thing I used before, or I could just type in make that 3. That's not what I wanted. Zoom in, make sure I grab the dimension I want to be 3, click that one to be 3. So that's 3, and then I want this one to be 6 feet exactly. All right, and so now I've got, oops, that's not, so I wanted that to be actually be 5. I want that to be centered, because 3 feet and 3 feet makes 6. There's 10 left over. I want that to be 5. Click on that, make that 5. Click on that, make that 5. And now everything is centered and where I want it. All right, so now I've placed my windows, I've placed my doors. We'll take care of a few more things when we come back for the next part of part 2 of the utility shed.